Hello, Robert here reporting live from UCLA, and I would like to learn about A-Rod. A-Rod, why can't you just be out of baseball right now? You got to appeal this. No one's happy with you, not even the fans. And if you get suspended 50 games, the Yankees are actually benefiting from you. So if you actually going into play and you're getting booed even if you get hit by a pitch, actually they're cheering for you if you get hit by a pitch. That's a disgrace. The Yankees are pissed. I mean, Joe Girardi just pencils you in because you're a good player right now. They don't have Jeter, they don't have Granderson, they don't have Teixeira, they don't have Youkilis. You're like a player that there's no point. There's just no point of even trying for the Yankees anymore. You see all of this. You see so much media going after you. Yankees just don't even want you to be a part of it, in my opinion. Just stay out of baseball. Just retire. You might as well just retire. You've had a good legacy anyway in New York. Just retire. You might as well. There's no point whatsoever to keep on playing. Just accept your 211 game ban. I'm Robert Dieters from UCLA, and that's what I got to say about A-Rod.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, I'm Nick Spatafor reporting live from the UCLA campus. I'm going to talk a little about SEC football. Here in Pac-12 country, everyone's saying the SEC isn't that great, and I do not understand the haters. They have won every single real BCS national championship game. Before it was Rose Bowl, there was no real national championship. 7 in a row, possibly an 8th this year. I do not understand why people still doubt this conference. Alabama has been a front runner. LSU is real strong. Texas A&M coming in early. This is their first season last year, and they showed up. Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, to name a few. I do not understand why people are still questioning these guys. They're going to the NFL, and they're being very successful. Reporting live from UCLA, Nick Spatafor.
3, 2.
Hi, I'm Richard Giraffa reporting live from the UCLA campus, and today I'm going to talk to you about the NFL rule changes and how ridiculous it is with all these changes. Today in the NFL, players can't even run into each other without getting some sort of penalty, whether it's a holding, a defenseless receiver, or just an unfair hit. I mean, come on, David Stern. Or, did I say David Stern? Is it David Stern? No, that's
Right, start over.
I've been with basketball all week.
Keep going. Start over.
I'm not good with rants. I don't like this.
All right. 3, 2, 1. There's no script.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
The way it is. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Hi, I'm Richard Giraffa reporting live from the UCLA campus, and today I'm going to talk about all the recent rule changes in the NFL. I mean, it's getting kind of ridiculous. Come on, Roger Goodell. All these rule changes are really hurting the game of football. Teams are barely being able to play defense now. You can't even touch receivers, so lockdown cornerbacks are becoming almost a rarity. It's getting to the point where it's really aggravating me, and I don't even like watching defensive football anymore, and that's my favorite part of the game. In my opinion, I think that Roger Goodell should step down or at least do something major about these rule changes and just let the players play like they used to a little bit. I'm Richard Giraffa reporting live from UCLA. Thank you.
3.
I'm Nicky Armitage, reporting live from the UCLA campus. Today I'm going to be talking about why many people have not put Drew Brees in their top 5 quarterbacks of this year. Many people have put Matt Ryan for the Atlanta Falcons in their top 5 quarterbacks over Drew Brees and not putting Drew Brees in. And to me, this is ridiculous. Drew Brees has led the New Orleans Saints to their first Super Bowl ever. And last year, the Saints defense was just absolutely horrible. They could not get off the field, and they were giving up 30, 40 points a game. And Drew Brees had to make up for that by coming up with big passing plays and throwing more than any other quarterback in the league last year. He was the only quarterback to throw for over 5,000 yards last year. And many people don't want him to be in their top 5 because of all the interceptions he threw, but I think that all the interceptions he threw was because he had to throw so much more than any other quarterback, and he had to make all these big plays to score all these points to keep the Saints in the games, and he managed to win 7 games, which is incredible because of how bad the Saints defense actually was. If there wasn't Drew Brees and the Saints, they might have only won 1 or 2 games. So to me, it's just ridiculous how people are putting Matt Ryan ahead of Drew Brees, who's only won, I think, 2 playoff games and hasn't even brought the Atlanta Falcons to a Super Bowl, and they've had much better players around him. Reporting live from UCLA, I'm Nicky Armitage.
3, 1.
Hi, I'm Donovan Fernandez, and I'm very upset about this biogenesis case. Ryan Braun, Alex Rodriguez, both of them are cheaters. I think A-Rod's suspension should have been longer. I don't even understand why he's appealing. I mean, come on, A-Rod. You did it. I mean, you even got caught twice. I mean, why? I just don't understand. Like, how could any good human get caught doing something that's wrong and then just do it again? And I mean, I'm upset that he's appealing and that he still gets to play. Like, come on, dude. Nobody even likes you anymore. You had a good career. Why couldn't you have just retired on a high note? Now everyone hates you, and yeah, you're a cheater, and that's all anyone will ever think of you as now. I'm Donovan Fernandez. Thank you.
Hey,
2, 1.
Hey, I'm Louis Schmick reporting to you live from UCLA campus in Los Angeles, California. I'm a big Angels fan, and I wanted to talk about how they haven't been winning, and I think the Pujols deal wasn't as good as we thought. Every deal a player has is turning into old, especially with Josh Hamilton, and now it's more becoming like we're not coming close enough when we can do better. Thank you.
3, 2, 1.
I'm Trevor Schneider, and I would like to talk about a man by the name of Sidney Crosby. To put it in the nicest way possible, Sidney Crosby is an absolute insult to the sport of hockey. You are going to get hit. It's part of the game. It's one of the things that makes hockey the best sport on the face of this earth. It's a man's game. Only the strong survive. Well, that is, the strong, and then there's Sidney Crosby. It has gotten to the point where fans of the opposing team will bring no diving signs straight from your neighborhood pool to games where Crosby's playing. He's the kind of person who, after he gets hit in the crowd, you'll just be in a crowded parking lot, someone will accidentally run into you. He is the person who will throw themselves on the ground, scream, "Officer, officer, he tried to assault me," and then proceed to sue the person who ran into him for every penny they have for some sort of trauma. I'm Trevor Schneider, and I hate Sidney Crosby.
3, 2, 1.
I'm James McDaniels, and I'm coming to you live from UCLA. But something that's really on my nerves right now is Jimmy Johnson. It is no... Can we do that again? Oh my gosh.
No, it's still recording.
Still recording?
Start over.
All right. I'm James McDaniels, and I'm coming to you live from the UCLA campus. One thing that really gets on my nerves is Jimmy Johnson. It is clear that he is cheating in the sport. All right, first off, he has failed numerous inspections. I'm not talking 1, I'm not talking 2, I'm not talking 3, I'm talking 7 or 8 failed inspections, all right? That right there is enough to say that he's trying to make his car better. And also another thing, he's part of Rick Hendrick. Rick Hendrick is one of the best car owners in the world of NASCAR, okay? And they've got the best drivers, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Casey Kane, and finally, Jimmy Johnson, all right? Jeff Gordon is a 4-time champion, and he can no longer stand up to where Jimmy Johnson is in the sport. Jimmy Johnson at Daytona just a few weeks ago. My gosh, the guy was ahead of everybody else, and even the guys that were drafting couldn't catch up to him. At Daytona, that's a joke. If you can go on your own and barely need any help from guys that are drafting you, that is proof that your car is really, really better than everybody else, and you have to be cheating of some sort. So that is my rant. Jimmy Johnson is cheating in the sport. He's had failed inspections, and it's clear that from his racing, even though he's won 5 championships, and they were all in a row, the fact that his car is better than everybody else every season, and people are getting tired of it, and I want to see NASCAR get back to where everybody had an equal chance.
3, 2, 1.
Anthony Reifenberg here live from UCLA, and although I'm on the West Coast, the Chicago Bears have made a lot of headlines in this NFL offseason. First, they decided to fire their head coach, their illustrious head coach in Lovie Smith. Now, being a Bears fan, I loved Lovie Smith. They were in the top 5 in defense for every single season he was there. Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator, who also was fired, did a phenomenal job. The only problem with that team was offense from year to year to year. I mean, it doesn't help when you have a different offensive coordinator each different season. You know, it's not good for Jay Cutler, it's not good for Forte or Brandon Marshall. You can bring in all the good players you want, but you have to have a backbone of a coaching staff that is going to put something in place to facilitate the players in the right position to succeed. And this general manager doesn't understand that. You don't fire a guy like Lovie Smith. You don't fire your defensive coordinator like Rod Marinelli, and you bring in someone who wasn't even coaching in the NFL for the last 20 years or 30 years. He was coaching in Canada. Sure, his team had some success. Style of play, the teams, the players. It is a completely different ball game, and there is something that is going wrong in that franchise. And although they may have good players this upcoming season, I don't know if they're going to be successful because they're not used to all these changes and this type of coaching staff. Live from the campus at UCLA, I'm Anthony Reifenberg. Now back up to the studio.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name is Chris, and today I will be ranting about the Heisman winner, Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel. What a year it's been for Johnny football. He emerged onto the scene after going to Tuscaloosa and beating the eventual national champion Alabama Crimson Tide. But he has seriously screwed up since winning the Heisman Award winner. It started with the partying, the drinking, and everything he did off the field. And now it's gotten to the point where he might get suspended, if not deemed ineligible for the upcoming season due to these NCAA violations that he supposedly violated. He apparently sold his autographs back in January for up to $7,500. Are you kidding me, Manziel? Not only do you do this, you go to the Manning camp, you get drunk, you get kicked out of that, you get kicked out of a University of Texas, Texas A&M's one of the Texas A&M's biggest rival. You get kicked out of one of their frat parties for drinking too much. You need to get it through your thick head. I realize we're just a freshman, but every step you take, the media is watching. And if you haven't realized that by now, you're never going to realize it because you're just screwing up off the field too much, Johnny football. Your team's not going to be good this year. You're not going to be good this year, and you'll be lucky to get drafted in the first round. My name's Chris.
3, 1.
Hello, my name is Miles Walker, and today I'm going to be ranting about my New York Yankees. Coming from a New Yorker, I'm used to seeing my Yankees in the playoffs, in the hunt, usually around the top of the division. But this year, in 4th place, 1 game above 500, getting swept by the Chicago White Sox, a team 25 games under 500. I'm not used to seeing this. It's so hard for me to watch this. It is so hard for me to watch my New York Yankees struggle and be down to the Red Sox. And then A-Rod comes, and what you would think is that when he comes back, you would think we'd be playing better. You would think we'd have a little more inspiration to try to make a push. Instead, all he does is come back with distractions, with his biogenesis. It's so hard for me, and it's just so hard to watch the Yankees struggle. It's so hard to see everybody on my team injured. Curtis Granderson's been injured for most of the year. Derek Jeter's been injured most of the year. Kevin Youkilis is out for the year. Mark Teixeira is out for the year. It's been a year full of injuries. It's been a year full of disappointment, and the Yankees have to get it together, or else they're going to be on the outside looking in for sure.
3, 2, 1. You're on.
My name's Isaac Glasser, and today I'm ranting about the Seattle not having a basketball team. So back in 2008, when the Supersonics left Seattle, Seattle fans were furious. We were robbed of our team. They went to Oklahoma City, and they got good. The Seattle fan base is one of the best in all of sports. That's proven even in football. They have the loudest stadium. They have one of the best turnouts in all of football, and it was true for basketball as well. Even when they were struggling, they had a pretty solid fan base coming to their games. And when they left, Seattle fans were furious. We've been trying all 6 years or so since they left to try and get a team back. There's been numerous offers made, but the offer recently made for the Kings was the best yet. Hansen offered around $600 million for the Sacramento Kings to come to Seattle, and there were a bunch of people trying to back him up. There was everything going to the Kings coming to Seattle, and then it was rejected by the NBA. The Kings are now going to stay in Sacramento, and Seattle won't have a team. We have no indication that Seattle will get a team, and nobody's sort of continuing from the NBA to help Seattle get a team, and I think Seattle deserves a team more than a lot of cities do, and they should definitely get a team. If not the Kings, if not a team that's already in the NBA, they should at least get an expansion team, because Seattle's more deserving than a lot of people.
Quiet on set. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, I'm Ian Martin. I'm ranting about the Sports Center. Sports Center is so East Coast biased. When you look at it, when you go on Sports Center, it's all Jets, Heat, Giants, all that stuff, Yankees, Red Sox, and you have great teams out here on the West Coast. You got the 49ers, you got the Seahawks, you got the Lakers, you got the Clippers. You just keep getting all these good teams popping up on the West Coast, and it shows even in football, where RG3 gets the Rookie of the Year award over Russell Wilson, who I think is much more deservable, and it's just awful. You can't keep giving East Coast all these favorable things. Got to get the West Coast in. It's just unbelievable how bad SportsCenter is about this. It's just so awful.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schnell, and today I'm going to be ranting about the Marlins ownership. When they said that they were going to build a new stadium, they said, well, if you build us a new stadium, then we will never have the lowest payroll in the league again. Well, that didn't happen. They now have one of the lowest payrolls in the league again, because they dismantled the team after 2 bad months last year. In the month of May last year, they had one of the best records in baseball and were on the road to the playoffs. And then Heath Bell just had to come in and blow everything. I mean, one person blows it and you have to dismantle the whole team. I don't understand that. They just have no logic about baseball, about what the fans want. It's just horrible.
3, 2, 1.
I'm Jake Leiker, and I'm going to rant about Greg Jennings. See, last month, Greg Jennings refused to refer to Aaron Rodgers by name after he left the team. He continually bashed in his leadership. It got to the point where his own head coach, Leslie Frazier, told him to stop. Only 1 week later, Jennings went back to bashing the Packers, saying that the Packers brainwashed him to believe that everyone in the division was tiers below him. There's a reason they did that. First, it's not brainwashing. The Green Bay Packers are not a terrorist organization. They're giving you motivation. And second, everyone in the NFC North is tiers below the Green Bay Packers, especially the way the division has played out the past few years. It's not brainwashing, it's just facts. It was Greg Jennings' choice to leave the Packers. The Packers offered him money, but not enough apparently, so he left to the Vikings. Just put up or shut up.
3, 2.
I'm Noah Taborda, and I'm here to rant about Greg Jennings. You know, Greg Jennings was a terrific wide receiver on the Packers, but now he's saying that the Packers brainwashed him. You know, I don't hear many NFL players saying that their former teams brainwashed them. That just sounds ridiculous. You know, he's on their rival, so that may play into it. But it's his sister was talking trash about the Packers, and now him. It's just time for him to stop talking. He sounds like a baby. You know, just stop. You know, it's just bad for you. It's bad for the Packers. It's bad for the Vikings. Your coach told you to stop. Everybody's telling you to stop. Just play football, let your game talk, and that's all you got to do.
3, 2.
I'm Blake Devine, and I'm going to rant about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, I mean, how could USC have such an awful year? Preseason #1, to 1,000-yard rushers, to 1,000-yard wide receivers. So much preseason hype, and arguably the worst season, or most disappointing year in USC football history. And I mean, wherever Lane Kiffin has gone, there's been high controversy. Oakland Raiders, first year, youngest coach in the NFL, 4-12 regular season. He gets in some fights with Al Davis, the owner, next year. 4 games into it, he's fired. Then goes to Tennessee, ruffles a few feathers in the SEC, including Nick Saban and Urban Meyer. And then he goes on to be 7-6. And the bitter taste in the mouth was when he left Tennessee for USC. And with this year that he had, I mean, Lane Kiffin's job should be on the line this season for the USC Trojans. With Marquise Lee as a Heisman contender, if you have another awful team this year and if you have a losing record, Lane Kiffin should be gone. Knoxville hated you. Oakland Raiders, the management, they want you gone at USC. They have disliked you for a long time, and now you're starting to build all the people in USC that want your job. So Lane Kiffin, listen here. I want a winning record for this Trojan team, and if I don't get it, your job should be gone.
3.
I'm Dantes Harvey, and I'm here to rant about the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I thought they were a great organization, but obviously we do not have a big man. I mean, JaVale McGee doesn't know the difference between a rebound, a goaltend, and a block. He doesn't know whether he's the center or point guard, and sometimes that's really questionable. And instead of, doing what a lot of teams would do, I mean, I realize as a GM I need a big man, but instead we get 5'6" Nate Robinson. I mean, what sense does that make? All that does is add another chair to put to our bench. I'm Dantes Harvey, and that was my rant.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, my name is Charlie Downey, and I'm here to talk about the A-Rod situation in MLB. Now, MLB started out suspending Ryan Braun, but then they went a little bit far, suspending A-Rod. I think it's a good thing that A-Rod's being suspended, but it's also a bad thing that MLB is getting a lot of feedback from the fans and a lot of sports writers. And right now, my main situation is A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez. So they suspended him for enhancing drugs, and A-Rod is appealing, which means he can play the rest of the 2013 season, but he will not be able to play the 2014 and 15 season, which means his career will be over. My name is Charlie Downey from Play by Play Sports Camp.
Brandon. 3, 2.
Hello, my name is Brandon Ware, and I am here to rant about Adrian Peterson. Ever since last season, him having a legendary year, rushing for 2,097 yards and 12 touchdowns, but ever since then, and he's been having this kind of I'm a god attitude. I can do anything I can set my mind to. Nobody can touch me kind of attitude. Let's not forget that the season before or that, he didn't even rush for over 1,000 yards, so I think this kind of redemption year here is kind of messing with his head a little bit, and he's letting this season go to his head and control his emotions. Because and an ESPN article recently said that Peterson has either 2 goals for next season to rush for over 2,500 yards, or have the Vikings win the Super Bowl. The Vikings winning the Super Bowl is definitely more likely, but 2,500 yards is nearly impossible. So I think, Adrian, I think you just need to forget about the past, don't end up like Chris Johnson, and just keep doing what you're doing. From Play by Play Camp, my name is Brandon Ware, and that was my rant.
3, 2.
Hi, I'm Cameron Sadeghi, and I have a rant about SEC and their education. Look, when you go to the SEC, I don't think players and athletes really care about education. And you know what? Frankly, I don't think the SEC really cares. You look, and I think, to be honest, the SEC just wants their athletes to play all the time. They overwork them. Did you even see the all access with Alabama on their football practice? Saban is torturing his players and forcing them to do a practice in 95-degree weather with offensive linemen who can barely even breathe. They look like they're going to pass out and die. I mean, it was really bad. And then I think personally they pay their players for scandal scandal after scandal. The SEC is kind of a joke. They don't care about academics. All they care about is sports. To be honest, the players should get paid because they don't even go to class. I bet if you try to go to class, they'd say this: don't go to class and we'll pay you for practice. So it's kind of, the SEC is just a joke in my opinion with their academics, and they need to have a little bit more integrity. That's my rant, and I'm Cameron Sadeghi.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, I am Chris Lowe, and my rant is going to be about the Kings and their fans. A couple years ago, the Kings were just like the Buffalo Sabres, a team you probably didn't even know about in the hockey league. Now, ever since the Kings started winning, bandwagoner fans started coming in. Soon they were the top team in the NHL. What is this? No one even knew who the Kings were a couple years ago. And now I'm even a bandwagoner fan. I'll admit that. My cousins are, my friends are. Everyone who is a Kings fan is most likely a bandwagoner. I do not like this. I am one too, but I don't like that. And you know, if they started losing again, all the fans would just go away and go to the Boston Bruins. They are always hot. And the Kings, they'll die out in a couple of years, then they'll come back again, then they'll die out. It's just Kopitar and Dustin Brown and Dustin Penner, all those guys, they brought all fans who didn't even know who they were to the NHL. To me, LA King fans are the joke. This is Chris Lowe, and this is my rant.
3.
Hi, I'm Jordan Hunter, and this is my rant about the Brooklyn Nets. Everyone's been talking about the Heat and the Pacers. Why aren't the Nets in the conversation? They have arguably the best starting 5 in the league, with all 5 of their starters having been an all-star at one time or another. They have a bench. Most people say, oh, they just have a starting 5. They have a bench. Andre Karolinko, Jason Terry, Andre Blatch, Reggie Evans. So they have a bench. I think they can contend with the Heat every day of the week. Their starting 5, they have so many options on the starting 5. Joe Johnson, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. One key for me, though, is going to be how they work with Brook Lopez. I think he's probably the main factor on offense. He's a good defender. Only thing, though, is their defense is not going to be the best. Paul Pierce was never known as a great defender, neither was Joe Johnson. Darren Williams is an okay defender, but Garnett and Lopez have to work the paint on defense. Another key is going to be Darren Williams and how he works. First half of the season last year, not a very good point guard. Second half, he was able to clean it up. I think they could be better than the Pacers if they want to be. I think they can maybe challenge the Heat in a 7-game series. I know they can. We'll see on November 1st when they play each other. I think when they play each other in Brooklyn. I just think that they're one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. And that's my rant about the Brooklyn Nets.
3.
KJ Hoover here. What I would like to know is why we have to do these rants. I mean, you stand in front of a camera and just blabber on about stuff for 15 to 30 seconds, and you're just supposed to stand here and go on and on and on and on and on about something. How are you supposed to do that? You're supposed to come up with it in like a minute's time and go on for 30 seconds to a minute on this and that and the other thing and talk about sports, but no, why are we supposed to do that? Whatever.
3.
My name's Chris Masita, and my rant's going to be about LeBron James and how after he won his first title, ESPN went on the air and said, can he do it again next year? And just give him a break. I mean, come on, he just won his first NBA title. Let him enjoy it. Just let him, and stop comparing him to Michael Jordan. I don't get it. They're from totally 2 different eras, totally 2 different basketball styles. Yes, LeBron James is good, but Michael Jordan is the greatest. And he won the championship again this year. When are people going to stop giving him crap? Especially the Cleveland fans. Yes, I know he did you dirty by leaving and moving to Miami, but come on, you got to get over it already. My name's Chris Masita, and that was my rant about LeBron James.
You are in 3, 2.
I'm Andy Bryan, and today I'm talking about the worst defense in the NBA in the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, in the offseason, we added Robin Lopez, Darrell Wright, Mo Williams just yesterday, and a couple other bad players that won't make the team. Now, here's the thing. Our defense was so bad last year, we even had a 6'9" center, and he got lots of rebounds, but that meant that
the middle of the defense and the key was not protected. Now, we got Robin Lopez, who should be able to fill that spot in the starting unit, but then we lost our backup center, J.J. Hickson, and we got Myers Leonard, who is super thin and completely unaggressive. And then we didn't add any good defensive players. We added a couple shooters, but they're not known for their defense at all. And we added CJ McCollum, who doesn't even know how to play defense. And the only player that I really think is good at defense is Nicholas Batum, who's probably going to be hurt considering he just hurt his Achilles yesterday. I'm Andy Bryan, and that's my rant.
3.
Hey guys, my name is Noah Friedman, and this is my rant. Today I'm going to be talking about a 12-time All-Star, a 5-time NBA champion, 3-time NBA Finals MVP, and 3-time League MVP. It's Magic Johnson, but why am I talking about him in a rant? Oh yeah, that's right, because he's on social media. He has a Twitter account now, and it's by far the most blatantly obvious thing ever. Last month, he was tweeting about the NBA Finals, right? And he just said, if the Miami Heat don't win Game 6, there will be a Game 7. Yes, Magic Johnson, you are an analyst. You're supposed to be giving us definite stuff about that. But saying that there will be a Game 7 if Miami doesn't win Game 6, that's so obvious. That is the most obvious thing there is. Magic Johnson, you are not a good analyst. Magic, I'm not discrediting your play in the NBA. You know, your 17,000 points, whatever that is. You know, you're winning an NBA championship in 80, 82, 85, 87, and 88. I'm not discrediting you for that. You were an amazing ball player. You won a title at Michigan State, you know, in 1979. But your transition from player to coach, you know, you're coaching. Oh, God, you're coaching. Man, you got fired in 94. Whew, that was crazy. But then you came back in 96 and played like 6 games. That was great. But your transition from coach to player to analyst has been very rocky. And like most of America, I believe that you shouldn't be an analyst. I think that you're an amazing person, you're an amazing entrepreneur, you're an amazing owner of the Dodgers, but you should not take to social media, first of all. Your tweets are awful. Your tweets are so terrible, but you're an amazing ball player. I'm not discrediting you. Thank you so much. My name is Noah Friedman. That was my rant.
3, 2.
Hello, my name is Elliot Taylor, and something that really grinds my gears is just Jim Buss. Jim Buss is probably the worst owner in the NBA. Although people think that the Lakers are such a great organization, this guy has single-handedly brought it down to the ground. Not only did he have the chance to hire Phil Jackson and pick Mike D'Antoni over Phil Jackson, but he also had the chance to trade for Carmelo Anthony. But he instead decided to go against that. He had the chance to also he just gave up basically Lamar Odom for nothing. And finally, he just pretty much had another opportunity when Phil Jackson retired the first time to hire Rick Adelman, who's a much more qualified coach, or Brian Shaw, who's Kobe's first choice, but instead goes with Mike Brown and doesn't interview a single other person for the coaching position. This man does not know how to run a basketball organization, and feel like any Laker fan should be seriously concerned about the future of their organization or their favorite team. Thank you.
3.
Hello, I'm Carl Mogline, and this is my rant. It's on home field advantage. Sure, it has something to do with it, and maybe in Game 6, if it wasn't in Miami, maybe they wouldn't have won because it's a small difference. But it's not this 10-point thing in football. It doesn't give you 15 points in basketball. It's not going to do this huge thing to it. It's a change, sure. If you play at Autzen Stadium or CenturyLink Field, you're going to get more false starts, stuff like that. You know, you'll get guys jumping off, and that happens. And this is a difference. It's just not this mind-blowing differences that's going to change everything. They give these stats on how certain teams always win at home and never on the road. There's also teams that always win on the road and not at home. Look at the Dodgers. They just won, what, like 15 straight on the road? And now everybody never looks at that, and they always look at the fact that teams win at home. And I'm sure I believe in home field advantage as a small difference, but look at the Ducks as well, the Oregon Ducks. They have never lost on the road in the last 3 years. They only lose at neutral sites, and at home they lost to USC at home. How do you even lose to USC? That doesn't even make sense. They were 6-7 last year and lost to Georgia Tech. The year before that, Matt Barkley was not that great a QB. He won't be that good in the NFL, but that's a different rant. But all I'm saying is home field advantage is not this ginormous thing. I think I'm sick and tired of this being a team wins only because they're at home. That's my rant.
Hey guys, I'm Daniel Levy and I'm going to be ranting about Jay Cutler. Here's the thing with Jay Cutler. He has talent. He's one of the toughest quarterbacks in the NFL, but here's his problem. He has no drive. When there's a big play on defense, when Peanut Tillman punches the ball out, he doesn't care. He is just sitting on the sidelines, looking at the fans, just looking at whatever he can look at. He doesn't care. He's sitting there emotionless. He has no expression. He doesn't have the drive. When you look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers on the Packers, here's why he wins. He cares about winning. He doesn't care about money. He cares about winning the game. He cares about going to the Super Bowl. He cares about bringing his city championships. And that's what Jay Cutler lacks, and that's why the Bears haven't won with him. If Jay Cutler doesn't perform this year, if I still see the same lackluster, I don't care emotion from him, I think that the Bears need to make a change at quarterback because this is getting absurd. He's got an offensive quarterback, he's got an offensive coach, he's got an offensive line, he's got good receivers. He needs to pretend like he cares, or else the Bears aren't going anywhere for a long time. I'm Daniel Levy, signing off. Thanks for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Cameron Sadeghi, and I have a rant about Latrell Sprewell. No one ever talks about this guy, but he's one of the most overrated players ever in the NBA. He choked his coach in 1995, PJ Carlesimo, and then brought a 2x4 in 1995 and threatened to kill a player in practice. Latrell Sprewell's got to be one of the most overrated players. He played for the Knicks in 1999, and he did choke in the NBA Finals, similar to what he did to his coach. Latrell is a really bad person, a really bad man. He said he was a changed man when he went to the Knicks, but all he was a head case to everyone in New York. Did he take that team far? Yes, but he did, yes again, choke in the NBA Finals, which isn't really a surprise to see. And then now he's absolutely bankrupt. He's broke. He had to sell his $4 million yacht. Oh, that's right, it got crashed, and then he didn't want to remove it. He actually wanted to keep it for a long time, but was forced to sell it. That's how bad Latrell has handled his life. Latrell's got to be one of the most annoying players, along with Meta World Peace and a few others. That's my rant, and I really am aggravated at Latrell Sprewell.
3, 2.
Hello, my name is Chris Lowe, and I'm going to be doing a rant about who's better, Dodgers or Pittsburgh Pirates. The Dodgers have been on a hot streak lately, winning 16 out of 17 games. Yesterday, they beat the Cardinals 13-4. That's a great game for them. Now, the Pittsburgh Pirates, they have Andrew McCutchen and a lot of other players who are doing really, really well. Dodgers, they have Puig, Hanley Ramirez, and they have a great pitching staff. So do the Pittsburgh Pirates. But the winner, I think, will be the Pittsburgh Pirates because Pittsburgh Pirates, they just got started. Dodgers got started a while ago. Dodgers are going to die down soon. Pittsburgh Pirates are going to stay hot till the postseason. They will go far in the postseason. Dodgers, they will win the NLCS, maybe win after that. Probably not. Most likely not. Pittsburgh Pirates, they have a great chance of winning the World Series. Better than the Boston Red Sox, better than the Tampa Bay Rays, better than any other team. Now, and then talking about the Atlanta Braves, they have a great chance too. Not as great as Pittsburgh Pirates, but better than the Dodgers. The Braves have a great pitching staff. They have great players who are hot right now. They have good connection, pitchers and catchers, great chemistry. They're just on fire. Dodgers, A.J. Ellis and the pitchers, they are great, but they do not have a great chance of winning the World Series. This is Chris Lowe, and this is my rant.
Jordan, 3, 2.
Hello, everyone. It's Jordan again. I'll be ranting about the age-old rivalry, the Clippers or the Warriors. Now, this rivalry will start this season. It was budding last season with fights between David Lee and Blake Griffin on the court. Most people say the Clippers. I personally say the Warriors. Warriors, I think, have the better starting five, but their bench is definitely not as good as the Clippers, who are said to have the best bench in the league. Now, I think with the Warriors inside, their big men are much more accomplished than the Clippers, with David Lee, I think, being a better post player than Blake Griffin, and Andrew Bogut being the more dominant defender than DeAndre Jordan. Now you look at point guard matchups, Steph Curry against Chris Paul. One's a ruthless defender, one's a never play defense kind of guy in Steph Curry. Steph Curry has a shot, he said this offseason he wants to work on getting to the rack, drawing more fouls. So we'll see how he does with that. Now we go to the question, will they start Klay Thompson or bring him off the bench? I personally think you start him and move Andre Iguodala to the small forward position where he's more versatile and can do more things because he has worked on his three-point shot. That's my rant about who I think is better. My personal opinion, the Warriors. My name is Jordan Hunter. Thank you.
3, 2.
This is Brandon Byer, and here's my rant. No college football player aggravates me more than Johnny Manziel. This offseason, he's caused so many problems for the NCAA. First off, he gets a guilty plea charge at a bar fight in College Station, which should have had him actually suspended and kicked out of College Station. Then he decides, oh, I'm going to get kicked out of the Manning Passing Academy because, oh, I'm, say, dehydrated from going out the previous night before and getting drunk, which I assume is what probably happened. Then he decides to go to a frat party at Texas, his rival school, and gets thrown out there, and you see video of guys throwing empty beer cans thrown at him. And then, above it all, he's now caught profiting off autographs from multiple brokers that have accredited these autographs. Johnny Manziel needs to be hit with the hammer by the NCAA. Mark Emmert needs to step up his game and come down with a harsh penalty here on Johnny Manziel to make a statement that there is no tolerance at all for any of this nonsense. For Brandon Byer, this has been my rant on Johnny Manziel.
3, 2.
I'm Jacob Seuss with SBC Nation, and this is my rant. Why can't the Mets score when Matt Harvey is on the mound? I feel like every year when I come to this camp, I'm ranting about something that the Mets do, and that's really not good. Every time Matt Harvey pitches, he pitches his butt off. 7 innings, 1 run. You know how many runs the Mets score for him? None. Mets will lose 1-0 and he'll get the loss. That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't care if we go out there and score 10 runs for Dylan G. We are 17 games out of first place. Score for Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey is 9-3 on the season. If the Mets could score a couple runs for him, he would be up there with Max Scherzer leading the league in wins, and it is absolutely ridiculous. I would be so pissed off if I was Matt Harvey. One of the best pitchers in the game, maybe besides Clayton Kershaw, and he cannot even buy a win. This is my rant, SBC Nation, Jacob Seuss.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, I'm Nick Aguilera, and this is my rant. How come everyone wants Yasiel Puig to win NL All-Star? I think Jose Fernandez deserves it. He's been consistent all year long, pitching his butt off for the Marlins. Maybe if he was on a good team, he would actually be front runner for NL Rookie of the Year. Yasiel Puig came up in June, and that's too late for Rookie of the Year. I think that Jose Fernandez, he's pitched since the beginning of the year. I think he should be the clear front runner for NL Rookie of the Year. He's pitched his butt off, but his team cannot score runs. So for SBC Nation, I'm Nick Aguilera. This has been my rant.
3, 2, 1.
You know what really makes me mad? When Arizona Diamondback fans and Padre fans say that the Dodgers don't have loyal fans. You guys don't even show up to your games. Basically, Petco Park is Dodger Stadium South, and Chase Field is Dodger Stadium Southeast. I mean, how can you call us a horrible fan base if you can't even sell half the games at your stadium? I mean, the only time when anyone shows up to any of the games is when the Dodgers are in town. That's all Dodger fans. I don't know what to say about this. And people like this is JC Airline for SPC fans.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, I'm Nick Aguilera alongside Jacob Seuss and Jason Garline for SBC Rants, and we're ranting about our camp counselor Zeke in wiffle ball. Seuss, what do you think?
Ezekiel is the worst umpire I've ever seen in my life. Bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, 2 outs. 1 out. Jason hits a ground ball, overthrown at first base. Everyone should move up. We tied the game. Runner on third. Should have went home. Would have been a walk-off. Other team won.
Yeah. I've seen Helen Keller give better calls than I mean, not to mention his horrible pitching of the inside fastballs and his constant taunting that just swing at it, I'm giving you the best pitch. His umpiring is like, as soon as the ball is hit, he goes to the ground and covers his eyes and makes whatever call he wants to make. It's totally unfair. And when he pitches to other guys, it's basically batting practice. When it's to me, it's the worst pitches imaginable.
When he's pitching to us, it's basically inside or outside fastballs. When he's pitching to the other guys, it's right down the middle, letting them crush 2 home runs to tie the game, both 3-run home runs, and we lost because of Zeke. Now, for SBC Rants and for Jason Garline and Jacob Seuss, I'm Nick Aguilera.
3, 2. Hello, my name is Noah Friedman. I'm here to rant to you about the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim's bullpen. Dane De La Rosa, Joe Blanton, Nick Morande, Ernesto Frieri. How did I do that? How did I just name the whole entire Angels bullpen? They literally have like a 7.5 ERA. They are awful. Literally, I'll go back to Texas. They played Texas 2 nights ago. They were down 4-3, I believe. Ernesto Frieri comes in a blink of an eye, it's 8-3. How does this happen? How did the Angels go from being a World Series contender by signing Albert Pujols and Josh Hamilton to being just off the face of this earth because of their bullpen? Ernesto Frieri is not a consistent saver. Joe Blanton has a 2-13 record. He gave up like 6 runs yesterday against Texas. I mean, it is Texas given, but still Texas is losing to Oakland in the division. The Angels bullpen is suckish. General manager Jerry Dipoto did absolutely nothing to benefit from this. Mike Scioscia's job is in question. Josh Hamilton's batting .219. That has nothing to do with the bullpen, but you see, it's a rant. You know, you go off topic, you do all this stuff. So, Angels bullpen, suckish, last in the American League, last in all of baseball. That's my rant. I'm Noah Friedman. We're done. 3, 2.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniel Levy, and I'm going to be talking about the worst owners in baseball, the Ricketts family. How can someone come onto the Cubs and suggest we get rid of Wrigley Field? There are 2 great ballparks left, and Wrigley's one of them, and they are threatening to get rid of it? Are you kidding me? I understand Wrigley's not the nicest place. Renovate it. I don't care what you do as long as you preserve the great ballpark that it is. You know, putting up advertisements, getting rid of the rooftop seating, it's ridiculous. They need to stop. They need to sell the Cubs. We saw what happened when terrible owners sold the Dodgers. Now they're poised. Now they're World Series contenders. Like, the same needs to happen to the Cubs before the Ricketts do any more damage to a historic ballpark. It's ridiculous. For SBC Nation, I'm Daniel Levy. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Carl. Hello, I'm Carl Mogline, and this is my rant. I'm ranting about NASCAR. Why am I ranting about NASCAR on a sports show? Because it's not a sport. That is true, but because people think it's a sport, I'll rant about it. And NASCAR is not a sport whatsoever. The definition of sport is something like an activity that takes like skill and physical exertion. I'm sorry, you might get tired driving for like 5 hours, but you're not actually exerting physicalness. Mark Martin is very, very old. Very, very old. And he still is good at NASCAR, which means it's not a sport. It does not take this huge physical exertion. I'm not saying it doesn't take skill. It takes some skill. I mean, I can turn left pretty well, but not as well as these guys. They are very, very good at turning left. And I just don't think NASCAR is a sport whatsoever. It's got some fan base. I'm saying it has a fan base. It has all these things. But it's an activity, or maybe a motor sport, which aren't actually sports. NASCAR is not a sport. It doesn't take any physical stuff. I'm not very good at left turning. I'm more of a right turn guy. But they're really good at left turns and like passing people and stuff like that. And they do like running into walls. But NASCAR is not a sport. For SBC Nation, I'm Carl Mogline. Thank you.
3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to this SBC podcast. I'm Noah Friedman.
I'm Elliot Taylor.
Jacob Seuss.
Daniel Levy.
Jason Garline.
Brandon Byer.
Carl Mogline.
Nick Aguilera.
And today we're going to be talking about the worst pitching staff in baseball. I'd like to start off this one. I'm going to have to say my fellow Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which, by the way, is a dumb team. It's a very stupid name for a team. C.J. Wilson pitches 3 innings consistently, every single time out. When he gets to the 4th inning, he gives up like 6 runs. Jared Weaver, in his last 6 starts, he has posted an under 2 ERA, so he's the shining piece of this. Jerome Williams has had to come in as a starter, and Garrett Richards has had to come in as a starter, and Joe Blanton has a 2-13 record.
All right, I need to say something else. I think my Minnesota Twins have the worst
starting pitching staff in baseball. Their bullpen's not that bad, but their starting pitching staff is absolutely terrible. I mean, you guys have Jared Weaver at least. Our best pitcher may be Kevin Correa or Mike Pelfrey. They are terrible. Scott Diamond can't pitch more than 6 innings. We finally had a good starter, but it was from a rookie in his first start. His next start, because he's a Twin, will probably suck.
I'm going to go with the Angels as well, Noah. Our bullpen is absolutely terrible. Worst bullpen in baseball. Ernesto Frieri, inconsistent now. At the beginning of the year, everyone thought he was going to be an okay closer. Right now, he's letting up 4 runs in 1 inning. Joe Blanton, we had to convert him into bullpen, and we bring in Garrett Richards. Garrett Richards is okay, but he lets up runs, and our hitting cannot make up. And Joe Blanton letting up lots of runs this season. Kevin Jepsen, don't even get me started on him. He is absolutely terrible right now.
All right, I got this. Florida Marlins, for one simple reason.
No.
I can't name a single pitcher on the Marlins.
I can. Jose
That's
Fernandez.
Miami Marlins.
Miami Marlins, same thing. They're so bad I didn't even know they changed their name.
I'm going to go with a dark horse, really bad pitching staff. Has anyone thought about the Milwaukee Brewers? I can name you 2 starters on that team, Giovanni Gallardo and Kyle Loesch. Other than that, I don't know who their 3, 4, 5 are. They are god-awful. That's why they suck. They're in the bottom of the NL Central when they were supposed to be good. I think it's actually a dark horse there. I don't think many people know.
Caroline,
how
go.
bad
I think
they
Jason's
are.
going to go with the
Okay, first off, we're forgetting an obvious team, the Houston Astros. Come on, guys. You guys are baseball experts. They had Bud Norris, the star of this team, who was like, 6 and 7, posting like a 3 ERA. Let's trade him away and give away our whole future of our franchise, even though he wasn't really the future of the franchise. Any given night, the Astros are promising, they guarantee their fans, we'll give you mediocre pitching, mediocre hitting, the worst team on baseball, guaranteed.
They're not under 700.
I'm going to go on a limb here, though, Noah. The New York Yankees have the worst pitching staff in baseball. Phil Hughes, CC Sabathia, Hiroki Kuroda. There's your top 3 right there. All names that sound good, but they're not. CC Sabathia, all-star, 5 ERA. Phil Hughes having one of the worst seasons of his career after coming back from injury, and Hiroki Kuroda is just being the average bum that he is.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Jason. I think that the very obvious choice is the Houston Astros. It seems like every time I turn on my Score Center app, I'm seeing like 10-1 in favor of whoever the Astros are playing on that day. It's incredibly, incredibly sad. And I just think that there's no worse pitching staff in baseball.
I'd just like to counter and say that no Astros player is making over $1.2 million. They're not under 700 games for just the pitching staff. It's pretty much just going out and playing with all minor leaguers, and the pitching staff for the Houston Astros is terrible, I get it. But the Angels pitching staff had so much promise, and they're literally 11 games under 500.
And they still can't beat the Astros.
They get swept by the Astros. They get swept by the Rangers. They get swept by the A's. You know, and I think that even though the Astros came into the AL West this season for the first time, it might not show record-wise, but they're a better team than the Angels, pitching staff and all.
Any team that puts Joe Blanton in the rotation deserves to be smacked in the face.
Yes, that is true. 2-13 record, 5 ERA. They signed him for 2 years and $15 million. His agent is an absolute genius. Come on now.
Also, just to let you know, Caroline, you know you had Jason Blanton in your rotation.
And then you gave him to the Angels.
Yeah, and then you gave him to the Angels.
This
Yeah,
is the best move Ned Coletti's ever made.
Exactly. There you go.
Anyone else?
I'd like to continue with the Twins. You
about the
guys
White
are all
Sox?
mentioning staffs that have a good pitcher or two. Our best,
don't have a thing.
Are the best Minnesota Twins starting pitcher.
We're not talking about AAA teams.
Oh.
But we talked about the Astros.
Yeah.
We talked about the
All the
Astros.
minor league teams, so I get to my point. Our best starter, maybe at best a 3 or 4 starter. At best, probably most of our starters are 5 starters, or 3 starters in the minors. That's about where they go.
Eric Bedard could be a number 2 starter on the Angels. I'm just saying. He could definitely could.
Okay, I'm going with Carl. You guys traded Ben Revere for Vance Worley.
That was the worst.
That was the worst pitcher outfielder trade ever. Vance Worley is terrible right now. So I'm just trying to defend you a little. So go ahead, Jason.
I would take Vance Worley for a bag of chips and a Coke, and that would be a fair trade.
I'd take him for 2 bats and a rosin bag for all I care.
All I know is whenever I see Ben Revere making some highlight catch on Sports Center, I die just a little bit inside at how stupid the Twins organization was in that turn.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this entertaining talk about starting pitching and bullpens and all that fun stuff for the major leagues. Figure it out, guys. You have like 6 years. For everyone here, I'm Noah Friedman for SBC Nation.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, reporting from UCLA. I'm Robert Dieters, your host from National Sports. And I got all my colleagues here. State your name.
Nick Spatafora.
Donovan Fernandez.
Louis Schmidt.
Nikki Armitage.
And we're going to be talking about Skip Bayless, a man that ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith. You know, we're going to go to Nick over here. What do you think of Skip Bayless on ESPN First Take?
I think that I don't know if he believes everything he says, but he definitely makes an interesting show. He asks the challenging questions, and he's not afraid for people to disagree with him or get angry at him or stuff like that. So, what he says, I agree with? No, but he's very interesting to watch, and it's very interesting to see how he goes about his work.
Yeah, I mean, I really agree. I think we all know Skip. He's very energetic. He's got a lot of he definitely holds a lot of power whenever they have the discussions. But I just think everything he has to say, whether you agree with it or not, you kind of just have to be interested.
I think he's entertaining, but I also think he's a better host than any of other ESPN except Jim Rome. So that's my answer, but I think I agree with everybody else.
I mean, he's so energetic. You almost don't even listen to what he's saying. I mean, you do listen to what he's saying. You don't have to agree with it. You just, in your mind, he's just such an energetic guy, and he's very easy to listen to, and it's very easy to get into it. So that's what I think about him.
Yeah, you know, Skip Bayless, a man that has his own opinions, and that's what he gets paid for. Am I right?
Yeah.
A man that I believe could be he's a good analyst, no doubt. I like the guy. This guy really does prove himself as one of the top analysts in ESPN. And, that's all we got today. But Skip Bayless, a man that I like and I love to enjoy. I watch ESPN First Take more than regular ESPN, to tell you the honest truth. All they do is talk about the main news, and it doesn't really help me out whatsoever. Let's hear about some games. Let's hear about some stats. I want to hear about the games, no-hitters, shutouts, that type of stuff. Well, reporting here from UCLA, I'm Robert Dieters, and all my colleagues here, thank you for watching.